Perfect. Yeah.
These people ran and it wouldn't be, like spaceships and fucking daisies and everyone holds hands and it's amazing. It would be probably the most evil fucking place to imagine. Yeah, essentially, if you lobotomize the baby, be in the womb, and then they gave birth, Destiny would be okay if you just started raping the shit out. Logical progression is like existential.
Okay, no, we don't say that. Okay. Okay, no, we don't say that.
Doing all right. How are y'all doing tonight? Yeah, absolutely. So nice little down and dirty quick 30 today. Had what I think you could say is a pretty one-sided game in terms of what to expect. We had the Lumberjacks and Express here, 3-0 team versus an 0-3 team, and it went just as you'd expect it. Lumberjacks moved to 4-0, Express down to 0-4. Express should probably be really in a little bit of worry at the moment. They got some work to do, especially if they want to even make the playoffs to get the chance to defend. Um, they're really struggling right now. They had Valenzuela have a pretty good game. Wyatt as well played well for the Lumberjacks, and Gordon took another top three podium finish. I think she could be a um, very important piece to this team and potentially a MVP. Also, yep, are you muted there? No worries. Making that fix real quick. Yep, no worries. I'll keep going here while he's figuring that out. But yeah, uh, Lumberjacks really kept Express at arm's length the whole way. 6-9's not terrible in terms of a score for the Express against a potent offense like the Lumberjacks. However, the Lumberjacks kept them at an arm's length, never really let them get all that close, never really within 2 runs to make it a really outstanding game there. If you want to go, yep. Now we got the second game. We had two 3-0 teams. We talked a little bit about last week. Both of had both these teams as my maybe stock was a little high, and you can see the wrong fielders. I was selling on them, but they proved me wrong. Got to 4-0. I believe we'll talk about them a little bit later, but I didn't think they stayed undefeated the entire week. They got their fifth game in. However, they were able to get a nice 9-3 win over the Moonshots. Pretty much exactly a really good game and an important one in terms of seeing who could be legit, who could not. Really making the Moonshots, giving them a chance to regroup, maybe catch your breath here going into the first sim. Um, Hogwash was outstanding again for the wrong fielders. That's definitely a player to keep an eye out for in MVP races and stuff like that. Another 2 home run day for her, as well as Bentley went, I believe, 7 1/3 innings pitched there for the wrong fielders. So the wrong fielders moved 4-0, Moonshots down to 3-1.
Let me test something here. Okay, I think my mic is now on. Okay, there we go. Yeah, because I was I was testing my Oculus Quest the other night, and I think because it was hooked up to my PC, that kind of overrode all of my like mic settings on my PC.
There you go. They said they got you there.
Perfect. All right.
But yeah, wrong fielders, they have been a little bit of a pleasant surprise, so that was good to see. Going into a game that was probably a very important one to pick up to kind of keep you in the race. Don't let you fall too far behind. Both 1 and 2 here. We had the Cyclones visiting the Stingers. Stingers still have been on a little bit of a struggle bus since that choke job against the Mythic in week 2, as they dropped their third straight game here. Um, Cyclones handled business pretty handedly. Wasn't too much of a concern in that game. You take a look here. You got Henson from the Stingers, as well as but Evans and Burgess for the Cyclones do end up on the top 3 leaderboard. Really was just kind of a game that reflected last season, if I had to say, where the Cyclones were a better team than the Stingers, and they just again kept them at an arm's length. It never really got um, all that intense per se. Pressure never really ratcheted up all that much, and the Cyclones get an important win to kind of keep their head above water, or at least at water level, heading into the first sim. Next, we're moving in to a 3-0 High Rollers versus a 2-1 Unicorns. High Rollers pick up that win there, move to 4-0. They continue to maintain their level of dominance so far this season. Them and the Lumberjacks seem poised to really make a run and be championship contenders. Unicorns had a good game, but it was not enough to overcome the pitching on the High Rollers. They gave up the 4 runs, but they got it done when it mattered. Duncan comes in, gets a save. He's been pretty good so far this year. He comes in and he's really maintained what the High Rollers have needed in terms of pitching depth in the bullpen. You take a look, Merritt for the High Rollers, Hayden for the Unicorns, and Maloney for the High Rollers rounded out your podium there. And the High Rollers get through the first set of stream games at a 4-0 clip.
Yeah, 4-0. I mean, just off the top of my head, it's Wrong Fielders, Lumberjacks, High Rollers. Is there anyone else who's 4-0?
We'll get to that in the next game.
Oh, look at that. There's my answer.
There you go. Yep, Mythic advanced to 4-0. Pretty exciting game. It was really a 2-man show for the Mythic. McRibbons and Theodorus combined for 5 home runs, including McRibbons getting 3 himself and a walk-off home run in the bottom of the 9th. Mythic really held the Quacks at bay for the better part of the first half as Weaver, the rookie, out of the 4-hole, came in and pitched very well. I believe he had 11 strikeouts through like 5-6 innings pitched. He was really dominating. However, it got given up pretty darn quickly when they turned in the bullpen. Watts gave up that lead, but the Mythic Theodorus tied it up with a home run, and then a home run from McRibbons in the bottom of the 9th sealed it for the Mythic. So, yep, 7 runs, all scored. All runs were scored by McRibbons and Theodorus. All RBIs are attributed to McRibbons and Theodorus, and all 7 runs are scored via the 5 home runs from McRibbons and Theodorus. So, it really was a two-man show to put up those 7 and get the Mythic to 4-0 over the 1-3 Quacks. Quacks looked to rebound. Pacheco was really good. He just got unlucky, ran into back-to-back on-fire hitters, and one of them capitalized on him. But Pacheco, for a rookie, seemed really solid out of the pen for the Quacks. Really held up his end of the deal right up until the very end.
Very solid, very solid. Was this?
Yep. Yeah.
Unless you're center, never mind.
Yeah, you're all good. This was, I guess you could call one of the more underwhelming games coming into this slate here. You had a 1-2 Area 51 and a 1-2 Liberty. 1-2 Area 51 moved to 2-2, Liberty to 1-3. 6-4 game. It was pretty mundane. Anubis picks up the win for Area 51, as well as Ochirio getting the first star and Sacred getting the third star. Area 51 win a game that they should probably win. If they want to get back into the playoff picture, these are the games they need to win. Liberty, on the other hand, don't pick up the win. They continue to slide after that week 1 surprise upset victory. It'll be interesting to kind of see how they handle the rest of the season. Everybody's kind of on the same page of what this Liberty team is. They're not here to compete this year. Obviously, Running's trying to make next year's draft and the year after what the Liberty needs to supply a championship caliber team. So see if they sell at the deadline, see if there's anything they want to do in that regard. But Liberty starting to fall the way that most people expect.
And a 1-3 going to the sim, not the best, but sims with the randomness that happens, you never know if they could claim a win or two off of an unsuspecting
Absolutely.
team. But we go into my stretch here. For this was week 2, day 3. Let me get that set up there. Yep. Let me get here. So for your final score here, 6-5 Bombers. This was a back and forth affair here. We see Alvarez, the reliever for the Bombers, picking up the win. Newton handed the loss, and then Special getting a save here. As I said before, this was back and forth. We had Donaldson in the first with a 2-run shot, and then the Storm brought it within 1, getting RBI double later. Then we see here that at some point in the 6th, Hokie for the Storm gets a 457 solo shot, made it 4-4. And then they actually took the lead later on that inning with a sacrifice, making it 4-5. But Bombers were able to get a RBI, a double and single top of the eighth to just etch out a victory over the Storm here. With your players of the game here being Gallagher, Donaldson, and Radical. Gallagher going 3 for 4 with the home run, double, and 2 RBIs. Donaldson getting that uh, home run and 2 RBIs, and Radical collecting a home run and two, actually, home run? Yeah, home run and 2 RBIs. And another notable performance here was Lewis for the Bombers, who got 3 hits and a walk. So overall, well-rounded performance by the Bombers. And yeah, um, we go next into Retrievers versus Knights. Out of all the games I watched, I think this one was probably one of my favorites to watch. Like going back and reviewing the footage here. This one had a lot of I'd say drama going into a lot of back and forth action here. In the top of the eighth, or it was top of the eighth. Cantu from the Retrievers made what I think is probably the best catch of the season. I don't think like just leaped over the wall, basically like just got like probably like the max reach you could get out of a fielder and was able to rob it off the wall. The Retrievers weren't able to make the comeback, but it kept the game to a 1 run score, and without that, it would have been a 6-9 game. But overall, good performance from either team's Knights just etching out here. Players of the game were Hebert for the Knights. He's been amazing. He's on fire. He went 4 for 4 with a double and 3 RBIs. Barzone for the Retrievers went 3 for 4 with a home run and 2 RBIs. And then we have Curly getting going 1 for 4 with 3 RBIs. So, very impressive performance from both teams. Well rounded offense, just the Knights just eking out a victory there. Next up, we have Walkers and Sonics. This one I think was, I think, an important game for either team here because they're both teams are kind of on the edge here. They're not really entirely sure. Are they going to be able to get it done this season? Will they have to wait until next season, maybe get some picks? But final score here, Walkers take it 8-5. Cervantes gets the win here, getting 6 innings of work, giving up 7 hits, 5 earned runs, and 2 strikeouts. Did give up 3 home runs though, so not that great of a like a pitching performance. But the Walkers' offense was just dominant, having a well-rounded offense, getting a lot. All their offense actually came off of either singles or doubles, so they played a lot of small ball, kind of out small ball the Sonics here. We have McFurlow for the Sonics going 2 home runs, two-run homers in the bottom fourth and sixth. That was pretty impressive. We had Judd French going 3 for 5 with a triple, a double, and a single, just shy of the cycle here. And then Fuller going 4 for 5 with a double and 2 RBIs, along with a stolen base. Another notable performance here was Ventura for the Walkers, going 3 for 5 with an RBI. I think Walkers. I think they kind of worried I believe going into the season about their offense, but I think this showed what they can do. But the question is, will they be able to maintain that once we flip the rotation around? They'll have to go back to facing the aces of some other teams.
Absolutely. I think you hit the nail right on the head here. Sonics needed, I think, that game a little bit more, but I think it creates a cool little conundrum where now you have the Walkers and Sonics both kind of in limbo of what's best for them this season. So we'll see kind of how that plays out, especially here in the first slate of Sims.
Another note here, Finley has been doing a pretty good job out of the bullpen for the Walkers. Picked up their second save this season on 4 games in. That's pretty impressive because usually relievers take a couple days to get ready. So back the fact that he's able to do 2 saves, pretty impressive. But
Absolutely.
we go into what is our upset of the night here. Final score 16-5. Serpents just absolutely smacked the Astros here. I believe I believe the worst it was 16-1. Yeah, just look at my notes here. No, 16-2. In the top of the ninth, it was 16-2. J.R. Prince ended up hitting a 3-run shot to make it 16-5. But the the Astros, they just couldn't keep the Serpents off the board here. And the Serpents, I believe they have the number two offense in the league if I remember off the top of my head here. I'm not surprised that the Serpents were able to score a lot of runs. If anything, I'm just more surprised at the fact that they were able to just score this many runs against an Astros team that had, for the most part, been playing pretty strong. We had a Praline for the Serpents here get 2 home runs, a double, 6 RBIs, and J.R. Prince second place for the Astros getting a home run and 3 RBIs. And then we have Klopp the Serpents going 3 for 6 with a home run and 3 RBIs. Just looking at my stats track here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 home runs on the night for the Serpents. Definitely a nice mojo boost, and the Serpents avoid a dubious 0-4 start.
Yeah, I mean, this was a rather shocking game. The Astros had a chance to join the other teams at 4-0. Regress a little bit back to what they might be closer to. However, still put up 5 runs. Pitching just let them down, so maybe that's a whole fourth starter thing. Maybe they're a pitcher away, but the Serpents kind of get back to what we expected them to be. They haven't been themselves so far this season, so it stinks that they unloaded the whole tank in the fourth game, but I guess it's better to unload it than to never unload it at all. So they get one back, and I won't say salvage the season because there's plenty left, but prevent it from being total and utter panic going into the first round of Sims.
Yeah, I will say also with the I think the playoff change, which I believe have gone into effect already. With it, we cut the playoff pool back down to 12. That's going to be a little harder now for these teams that have started 0-4. That's going to make it a little harder climb because 0-4 in a 16 team field, that's not really the worst case. You just got to have a better middle end half of the season. You could probably make the playoffs. But now the field is only 12 teams. That reduces that margin of error ever so slightly, kind of removes those 500 teams out of the playoff picture.
No, absolutely, and I think the biggest thing with the 12-team playoff too is it's going to create a lot more movement. I think you're going to have, if you had a 16-team playoff, everybody's going to be a buyer, very few sellers. But with this, I think it opens the door to potentially see a few more sellers and create a little bit more chaos and intrigue coming into that trade deadline.
We go into our next game here. This was I guess our toilet bowl of the night. Final score 6-4. Dragons pick up their first win of the season. Monstars dropped to an 0-4 record, just not the start you wanted to see from them. Williamson picked up the win here for the Dragons, going 6 2/3, giving up 8 hits, 4 earned runs, a walk, and collecting 5 strikeouts here. Monstars, what happened here? Burke only went one and third inning, but Burke got nailed. They got hit with the extreme pain injury, so they're down to tier one, as you call it. Gave up 3 hits, 2 runs, 3 strikeouts. Since he's a pitch starter, he should be able to be at least like well by the time he starts again, but just not ideal for the Monstars here being 0-4. Players of the game here are Peck, Buckley, and Alexander. Peck going 3 for 5 with I didn't even mention this. Peck had 3 home runs, 5 RBIs. Peck, so it was basically a one-man show. Pick hit a solo shot in the first. He hit a 3-run shot in the fourth to make it 5-2, and then just an extra insurance home run in the seventh to make it 6-4. Peck has just been outstanding so far for the Dragons. I feel like I've seen his name pop up a lot in these stat sheets.
Yep, I
Buckley,
believe Peck,
you gone?
I believe he was a second round pick if I do remember correctly. So finding an element that can be something to put forward to a future team. Obviously, I think we've talked about it last week. Dragons aren't really in it to compete this year. So selling what corpse players they have left is good. However, finding one piece in Peck that they took in the draft this year, I think is really good and potentially interesting to see if they elect, even though they just drafted him, see if they maybe turn to flip him to receive the best possible.
That would be crazy, I
Um,
think.
yeah, flipping a rookie. I mean, it's an interesting tactic. I wouldn't be shocked if we see maybe one or two this year. Um, but being able to utilize a rookie that's overperforming or um, really try to capitalize on that youth to maximize the asset return could be something the Dragons look to explore. However, this is probably worst case scenario for Monstars. We delved into how they really need to get it going. They invested a lot in this offseason draft. They are pretty bare bones when it comes to going forward with picks because they sold to get Horn and um, what was it, Guzman, and now they're losing to a pretty poor Dragons team.
Yeah, Monstars. So maybe they'll look to double down on the season, try to get any pieces at the deadline, or maybe they try to recoup some value, try to get something and just restock for next season. But
Yep.
we go into, I believe, our final game of the night here. Final score 8-4. Diamond Jacks just showing off that offense once again. We've seen a lot of high scoring games from them, and no different here. Macho Man picks up the win, getting his first of the season. Let's see, he went 5 innings, gave up 6 hits, only 2 earned runs, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts here. Rhodes was handled the loss here, going not even 4 innings, giving up 7 hits, 4 earned runs, 3 walks, and 6 strikeouts. So, and becomes the first 0-2 pitcher of the season. So this was actually the fifth game here for the Cyclones since they had an extra game, I believe, a week or two ago. Carr, Franklin, and Corvette. You got a Diamond Jack sweep here for your players of the game. Carr going 3 for 5 with 2 doubles, 2 RBIs. Franklin picking up a home run, a solo shot. And then you have Corvette going 2 for 4 with a double and 2 RBIs. Diamond Jacks, they played a lot of tough games this season. They had a lot of close games. I think this is honestly a sleeper team. I don't think many people have them pegged for, like great success, but I think this is a team that could definitely sneak up on you with their offense.
Absolutely. I think the Diamond Jacks have proved. I think 8 is the fewest runs they've been held to. Let me pull that up real quick.
Whoa.
But they've been hitting the crap out of the ball. They can't pitch for crap, but they can hit the ball. The Diamond Jacks are a very interesting team. I think they have a chance to threaten for a playoff spot. I don't think they do get the playoff spot, so I think wise move for them would be to sell off some of their pieces and maybe take a run in a future season. Could be a interesting proposition, but I lied. So they got 12 against the Astros, 11 against the Unicorns. Both of those were losses. 4 against the Skulls in a win, and now 8 against the Cyclones. So they've put up a crap ton of runs,
Yeah, no, I wouldn't.
and I think.
I was
Yep,
say
sorry. I think.
you go.
Yeah, sorry. I think this can just be a very interesting team, as Kawashi was saying, 2 for 2, 2-2 with Millie, dragging all kinds of butt is interesting kind of proposition. So I think we'll see what they can do to rebound.
There's one thing you could say about the Diamond Jacks. They may not have the best team, but you can't say they're not entertaining. They definitely get, if you like high octane baseball, and Diamond Jack games are the ones you want to watch. But
For sure.
that wraps up the games we covered for this week. We don't have any segment, but we are just going to take a quick look here for our last 2 games here. Forgot to update the title there, but it doesn't matter. So we have our first 12 here. I think it looks pretty standard. Obviously, we won't be able to watch any of these matchups here. But anything you see that stands out to you, Shaggy?
Um, Kind of just in right off the bat, the Express, are they going to be able to beat the Liberty?
That,
If they want any chance of even sniffing a playoff spot, that's a must win for them. If the Liberty take it to the Express, I will officially declare the Express dead if the Liberty can win that game. Um, Knights wrong fielders will be an interesting one right there. With the wrong fielders, are they
mm.
still undefeated? I believe
They are
correct, 4-0.
4-0, and they go back to the top of their order here against a very strong Knights team.
Knights team. Yep, that'll be a good one to keep an eye on. Astros Bombers, two
Mm.
very good teams there as well. Serpents putting up 16 this past week against the Diamondbacks, who seem to put up a lot of runs, so that might be an interesting one. See what happens score wise there.
We're gonna have to set the over
Um,
under for that game pretty high.
Pretty darn high. Let's see what else we got
This
here.
week,
Dragons Express. Again, if the Express lose to the Liberty and the Dragons, they have two of the easiest teams. They need to win both of them. If they lose either one of them, I think we can pretty much mail it in for the Express on repeating this season.
and
Uh,
no Express. I'm just thinking off the top of the head here. They might have gone off to one of the worst starts that a defending champion has gone off to in
oh,
the SSBL.
oh, absolutely. And I'll go even one further because it looks like they play in game number 72 there. Play the Area 51. So that is three of I I guess you could call lower ranked teams. Like they're not playing any of the big bopper teams that are really in it for playoff contention. So between Liberty, Dragons, and Area 51, they absolutely must win two of those games. If they lose even two of those, I think you can pretty much call it. Yeah, Area 51 is inconsistent, but that's kind of one of those where you can capitalize on an inconsistent team. Right, and if you're a defending champion, you should be better, especially with Ellis returning. I still consider that one Express need if they want to have any shot of playoffs.
Yeah, no, we go into the second half of
Oh,
the set here.
yeah.
Were you saying something or?
Oh, yeah, no, I was already kind of in second half, so you're going to kind of
Okay.
introduce that a lot.
Okay, yeah, so I guess I'll take a look here at a couple games here. Not just looking here, Lumberjacks, Monstars, Monstars sitting at 0 and 4, but they're still a strong team. They go up against uh Pepperonis here. There's okay, never mind. I didn't realize the Lumberjacks play game 51. But yeah, they go up against Pepperonis there, so that'll be a tough match, but with the Sims, the that kind of falls closer to a 50-50 matchup, I think. I'm looking no, what I'm really looking here is game 63, Retrievers, wrong fielders. I think that has a just another big game there for the wrong fielders to show are they a legitimate team this season. You go one more down, Moonshots Knights. That's gonna be a star-studded battle there. Lots of firepower on both sides. Game 67. There's a lot of games in this set that I'm really interested in. Game 67, you got Astros and High Rollers. Another you got a 4-0 team there. 3-1. Definitely a very close matchup there. Bombers, Mythic, another matchup there. So a lot of very interesting sets. That's kind of sad we won't be able to watch, but obviously we have to choose something at some point, and we can just go picking and choosing what to sim or not to sim. So this is the set of
Absolutely.
games that have been chosen, and I think we're gonna see a couple shakeups here just with how random the simming is in SMB.
Yep. Just a quick question. I guess Whitney can answer this more in either the Discord or here in the chat, but are you planning on doing kind of like rosters for each one? Because looking at them, I'd be curious to see if any managers maybe try to look to a game or two ahead and maybe um start a pitcher on short rest, or save a good pitcher for maybe a tougher game type thing. So, just something to
Well,
keep in mind
well, remember,
if that's
if I understand the question, remember last season we were allowed to still make adjustments to the roster, and then he just sim it. I don't know if that was the question,
right.
but those are just little things I think a lot of teams will have to be attentive for because because we don't have no clue how the simming works. We don't know if they just flip a coin. Do they just play through an entire game just really quickly? But
Right.
we have no clue what's do traits even get activated in the background. We know Mojo gets affected. So the base
Correct.
So you
Correct. And so, because like that was something I was going to look at is, for us with the Mythic, maybe I flip Quinto and Shelton. Maybe I give Quinto extra game of rest and play him against the Bombers and start Shelton on a day short rest and trust the bullpen to get it done against the Cyclones there. Maybe it doesn't go well, but I give myself a good chance against a good Bombers team. If not, then that's completely fine too. I was just curious if that's something that maybe gets implemented here in Sims or if it's just pick and go.
And I think just thinking now, what really have been a cool feature with is for Sims instead of how it goes like really quickly when you Sims through, like you don't really get time to see what's happening to the scores. Like by set, like it just flashes numbers on your screen until the game is over. It'd be nice if they kind of could do like a quick breakdown of like every at bat, but like it still goes by pretty quickly, but like it's still enough to like see you could see the general progression. So maybe it takes like a minute per game, but you still get to see the general progression of what happens like in each inning. I think that would have been a cool feature, but we're not gonna get it. So, but either way, here that is the end of the stream. Here is a little quick week for us. We'll we'll try to see next week after we get basically 2 weeks worth of games, and we won't have the graphics, but we will still try to come up with a segment as we start shaping out the teams here, going back into regular play. But that being said, Shaggy, anything else you want to add?
Nope. Sorry for it being a little bit quick and rushed this week. I know we got a lot going on. Just glad we could kind of talk a little ball and give a little league wide update and do it in a quick little time frame. So it was good.
Yep. That being said, thank you guys for tuning in and stay tuned next week. Peace out.
Absolutely. Have a good one.